Hello! In this video, we're going to talk about the hiding spots behind Hunter's spawn. So basically just this region right here, right? And we'll look over some of the hiding spots over here, right? Because they're not with any of the houses. So we're just going to basically look at that stuff, right? So really, let's start with the anvil stack, right? So for the anvil stack, basically, it almost forms the fish structure, right? If there's an anvil right here, it forms the fish structure. So this would be fake. Another spot you might see is 3 anvils in a row, or 3 anvils in a row right here. And also if you see like 2 anvils in a row right here, that would be fake. Notice how there's 2 anvils on top of the stack, so if you see 3 anvils on top of the stack, for instance like this, then that would be fake. Next, let's go over to this block pile. Notice how it actually has the fish structure, right? It actually has the fish structure with it. So really, if there's anything more than the fish structure, for instance, 3 blocks in a row like that, right? 3 blocks in a row like this, or if the tail of the fish is modified, right? For instance, like this, where it forms basically the bow tie instead, then this would be fake. Notice how there's only 1 block on top of the stack, so if there's 2 blocks on top of the stack, for instance like this, then that would be fake, right? And so that's really all it is, right? If we head over here, we have a total of 4 flower pots. So if you see 5 flower pots, like for instance like this, then that would be fake, right? There should only be 4 flower pots. So you just have to memorize that. Over here we have basically 2 bookshelves. So if you see a bookshelf on either side of these 2 bookshelves, like in either one of these 2 spots, then that would be fake. These anvils form that common structure that we've seen a few times in this map, so just memorize it, right? If you see any deviation from it, like 3 anvils surrounding the central, or 3 anvils surrounding the central anvil, right? Or if you have an anvil, like a square of anvils, or like an anvil to the side of it, then that would be fake. So that's really all it is. In the back over here, we have these TNTs. Basically, it's just a total of 5 TNTs. The common spot is to see a TNT in the center of the structure, so right here. Just like that, right? Now over here we have cauldrons. Now these cauldrons are actually really interesting, because if you focus on just the top of the cauldron stack, it forms that same common structure we saw with the cauldrons that we went over there, right? Because if you see a cauldron behind the stack like this, then that would be fake. Just like that, right? This spot is actually pretty common. Let me show you, it's the same exact thing that we saw with the cauldrons over here. Right, if we just head back over to the same spot that we keep referring back to, that is these cauldrons, right? If you see a cauldron behind it like this, then that would be fake. It's the same exact thing that we were talking about with the cauldrons in the back, right? Right over there, right? And so that's really the idea, right? That's the common spot that you'll see with the cauldrons over here, right? And we basically talked about everything in this region. But heading over here, we have a few more things, right? Starting with these anvils, basically, you see 4 anvils in a row like that, it would be fake, right? And that's basically the idea. 4 anvils in a row is typically what you're looking for over here, right? I'm not going to worry about these anvils too much. Usually you never see anyone hiding with those anvils. For these TNTs, notice they almost form the fish structure. If there's a TNT right here, then they form the fish structure. And so that's how you know it's fake. Right, but some other spots you will of course sometimes see is if you see 3 TNTs in a row, or if there's like a square of TNT like this, right, then that would be fake. Also, there's only 1 TNT on top of the stack. So if you see 2 TNTs on top of the stack, for instance like this, then it would be fake. This is so good, I like doing this. Right, notice there's a total of 2 flower pots here, so if you see 3 flower pots, for instance like this, then that would be fake. Right? Just like that. Now, if we go down here to the center or the bottom of the railroad, basically you have furnaces. So if you basically see a furnace in this spot, it would be fake. Sometimes you'll even see flower pots go here, right? Now for the anvils, even though they don't face the same direction, you'll still sometimes see anvils hide here, right? Like for instance right here, that would be fake, right? Just like that. And so you just sort of have to memorize that, right? Yeah, you basically just have to memorize it, right? Alright, now as for these furnaces, usually you don't see anyone hide with these furnaces, honestly. Right, but if you see like a furnace in this spot, it's fake. Right? Sometimes you'll find a furnace hiding behind the stack. Right? Just like that. That's basically it for the furnaces. Over here we have these TNTs. As for the TNTs, basically first of all, there's a total of 3 TNTs on top of the stack. So if you see 4 TNTs, for instance like this, then it will be fake, right? Just like that. And also if you see 3 TNTs in a row in front of the stack like this, that would be fake, right? Just like that. Behind the stack, usually you don't see anyone hide behind the stack, as for what I've seen. It's usually in front. So that's basically it for the TNT stack. And so, we do have, I think just these 2 block piles left to go over. Now, this bookshelf stack is actually identical to the furnace stack that we went over in the previous video. As you can see, remember this furnace stack, right? 2 on top of each other, 2 in front. Well, that's identical to the bookshelf stack right here, right? 2 on top of each other, 2 in front. It's identical. But even crazier is that the furnace stack is identical to the bookshelf stack with the exception of 1 block, right? The exception is this block. As you can see, we have 2 on top of each other and then 2 in front of the stack. The only difference between this bookshelf stack and this furnace stack is this furnace, and that's it. Makes it really easy to memorize it all.